these sorts of lawless and chaotic disruptions in our federal workplaces that make both the public and federal workers less safe. Some of the things that are happening, federal workers, we've had reports that federal workers are being racially profiled and harassed in their workplaces. I've members of my own union, I've talked to folks who are they're having to carry their passports to work because they are afraid of being stopped or arrested without due process in their workplaces. Just lots of fear and uncertainty and chaos in these public buildings, and public buildings, federal buildings should be places where people feel safe, where they're able to come and get the services that they deserve, Social Security, veterans benefits, things like that. And so that's why we're out here trying to raise awareness. So my name is Mark Smith. I'm a president of National Federation of Federal Employees, Local 1. I'm an organizer with the Federal Unionist Network. I'm also an occupational therapist serving veterans in veterans healthcare. Yeah.
And this whole privatization of public buildings, public resources, is that a concern to what's going on at the VA?
So there have not been any ICE raids or abductions of immigrants and things like that in VA buildings, not yet. But VA clinics have been affected by the chaos surrounding the aggressive ICE raids. In Los Angeles, for example, the aggressive ICE raids there, the deployment of the National Guard, sparked a lot of protest. And there were, it was a very chaotic scene, and the VA clinic there was actually shut down for almost a week because of so much chaos and, violence happening there. And so, it's impacting folks. Yeah.
And the revocation of contracts, union contracts, federal workers, how has that affected federal workers?
I mean, obviously, it's taking away our rights to, speak up without fear, because if we have a union contract, we feel protected, right? We feel like we're able to, be protected from unjust firings or terminations. If we speak out, if we blow the whistle, in many cases, the Trump administration has gutted some of the typical ways that federal employees would typically be protected, even if they didn't have a union, which is through the Merit Systems Protection Board or the Office of Special Counsel. A lot of those avenues have been gutted. The heads of those of organizations have been fired. And so our unions are basically our only line of defense, and if we don't have union contracts, it makes it difficult for us to feel safe to speak up, to speak out. So it's definitely a critical issue.
And the merit system was set up to avoid conflicts of interest, corruption. How is that going to affect the American people, getting rid of the merit system, getting rid of civil service, really, and have just appointments whoever they want to appoint?
Yeah, so we've had a merit-based civil service for many years, because what happened previously, every time a new political organization or a party came in, they would get rid of all of the previous people and bring in their through a patronage system, and they would just hire whoever to fill up these positions in the civil service, and they were not professional civil servants, and so what we got was very poor public services. But what we've seen really in many countries where you've seen authoritarian takeovers, the first thing they do is gut the civil service, right? Because if you have a civil service that is loyal to the president or to the political party, you can really carry out an agenda that might not be good for the people or the public, and you can do whatever you want, basically. So. And
the budgets of FEMA, a lot of agencies, meteorological workers, meteorologists are threatened. Do you think it's going to affect the public safety of people in the United States?
Absolutely. All of these cuts to critical agencies, like the NOAA and the National Weather Service, these are people doing really critical work. and many of these cuts are being made with absolutely no care or attention, right? And like we saw at NIOSH, the National Institute of Occupational Safety and Health, many of the researchers were cut there. Hundreds of them, who are working on studies for cancer, for firefighters, and just critical safety and health protections, and all kinds of things that are going to have all kinds of impacts that we might not see immediately. Some of them we do see immediately, but many of these impacts we're not going to see until years down the road, and it's going to be devastating.
And what can people do about it?
People can speak up, they can fight back, they can go to savepublicservices.com and get on our list to hear about actions that are happening. But they just need to, be in the streets, join their unions.
Many public workers as well, they're under attack, private and, public workers of the state, county.
Yeah, public workers need to be fighting back. Private sector workers need to be fighting back. Immigrants, the public needs to be standing up for immigrants, their neighbors, community groups, just joining organizations, getting organized, whether it's your neighborhood group, whether it's your church, whether it's your union, or your local political action group, whatever it is, people need to get organized and fight back.